Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So Challenger appears, third episode. We already saw that, well, a couple of weeks ago in the first episode where Yugioh tournaments pretty much almost won the entire thing. It only lost once, can't remember which deck it was, but it's currently sitting at, first place. Last episode we saw Kashtira, was about to say good old school Kashtira, but it's still one of the best decks up until, we are going to get our ban list. I don't know, maybe within the next couple of weeks. So next up we have Magical Scientist FTK. It's, well, it's a contender. It has been a contender a couple of times, or at least a challenger appears in the Cross-Banlist Cup series in the past. So let's see how it goes, right? As you know from the previous episodes, you know how it goes. A deck is allowed to lose once. The second time it loses, it will be, out of the game, I guess. Again, the goal and the purpose is to get as many wins as possible. It's basically best of one against, all the opponents we just saw, at least, well, starting from the bottom right and up until a point it loses a second time. There are some challenges in between, but again, that kind of depends if the deck is able to get to that particular challenge, like halfway or all the way up until the end, like what happened with Yugioh here. So as you know, Scientist FTK is pretty much one of the first FTKs, at least from my experience back then, almost 20 years ago. I remember it very well. One of my locals, first ever local tournaments back then. It was one of the best and most consistent FTKs, especially for that time. But back then we didn't really have any hand traps. Were there actually hand traps? Well, Kuriboh, I guess, and Kuriboh was being played after, like, what was it, 2006, 2007, because of Cyberstein. But anyway, so how consistent is the FTK? It's kind of consistent, but you have to, take into account that there are no hand traps as mentioned before, and the deck is super. Imagine Scientist against something like Sprite that has access to like Ash, Veiler, or Imper. Imagine Veiler on Scientist. That's probably GG, simply because the deck hardly runs any defense, right, as we see here. Kind of unfortunate with like Monster Gate Reasoning, those are super important cards. They were kind of involved into most FTK strategies when they were at their maximum amount, or when they were like allowed at 3. Obviously going first for the deck is super important, simply because again at least less interruptions if it's going second, that is. Well, then again, I guess Scientist FTK has access to stuff like Heavy Storm, Giant Tornado, and stuff like that. So this is a super desired setup, but I need Catapult Turtle, right? Catapult. So I was like, come on, 3 turtle in the deck. Come on. That or Demok. Come on, like multiple options, and Demok into the board. So that's fantastic. I can get back Last Will, and as you know, Last Will had like multiple erratas in ruling updates in the past. But by the time, with this FTK, it was possible to use Last Will, even though before in that particular turn a monster was sent to the graveyard. So it is what it is. So now Catapult Turtle hits the field, and now it's easy GG. A couple of fusion monsters being summoned, and then eventually Catapult Turtle, what does it, deals like half of the attack damage to your opponent of the fusion monster special summoned. Scientist another 1000 life points. That should be the last one, and then I guess Turtle itself. Here in this case didn't really matter in the long run. So next opponent, that's 6 Samurai, and that's a problem. As you know, like Samurai being able to negate the spell and trap. But luckily the deck goes first, so we still have a chance. Like, look at that hand. I mean, that hand is kind of okayish. If it's only like Shen, Grandmaster, Kizan, Set, Typhoon, that's not the worst. Like, only one spell and trap negation? I mean, that's definitely doable. So let's see. I can tribute someone for Catapult Turtle. Ah, yes. And that's why Last Will as well. This back then, Last Will, for me, I remember it like very well, was like an undervalued card for like standard decks. And most of the time people kind of played it in these kind of strategies, FTK, OTKs, like Exiled Force for Stein. But eventually people caught on that it's actually, especially because of that ruling update, at least I guess the last one, where it didn't really matter when the monster was sent to the graveyard, it just needed to happen in that turn. So I guess this is fine. So Monster Reborn on Demok, get back, what was it, Monster Reborn, another one? But the problem is that, and the bottom was a problem on Demok, so now I'm I'm behind. The thing here is that I don't see any option. The thing is that, as we've seen with FIRST in the previous Cross-Banlist Cup match, is it loses hard to Heavy Storm, and no Storm or Giant Tornado, and, you know, bottomless combo, stuff like that just prevents the Scientist strategy from, you know, going off, I guess. So it is sort of the Scientist ends up with 3 wins, 3rd place for the moment, but again, more decks are coming, you know, for this particular series. So a shorter run, but I mean, that's what you get, I guess, you know, for like an FTK strategy. So if there's any other decks you want to see featured here in this series, definitely let me know. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Leakum signing out. Peace.